Media. Fueled by C4, Cellucor, and Extend. Use the code Clydesdale to get 20% off at checkout at c4energy.com. On Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the widest array of content here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifier so you're first to know when new episodes are available.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Kat Shear. We are doing a series on semifinalist athletes, and today we have the pleasure of meeting Molly McGrandy. Molly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. It was a kind of a short training session earlier today, so.
Okay, let's hear it. What'd you do? We like to talk about workouts, so.
Oh, okay. I started off with actually quite the burner. It was 4 sets of 2 legless rope climbs, 20 thrusters at 65 pounds, 20 double under crossovers, 2 legless rope climbs, and you had 5 minutes to do it, so you had to earn your rest. 4 sets through.
Okay.
Had some bench, had some snatch grip deadlifts, and then ended with some skill work. I, for the first time ever, did a ring forward roll or a front roll. I'm not sure what they call them, but took me 4 tries, got my first one. I was not so lucky during the workout. Those got harder. Just some skill work with ring muscle ups, deficit strict handstand push-ups, those forward rolls. And then I had supposed to do zone 2, but ended up testing one of the age group qualifier workouts for one of my friends who lives in a town about 30 minutes away. She's a teen athlete, Haley Rolfe. She's been to the games the past 2 years. So she asked me if I could just hit the workout, if I had any tips or anything for her. So I did that instead of zone 2. So
I'd much rather do that instead of zone 2 also.
It took about as long as zone 2 did. It was a long one.
Are you a C2 erg girl for your zone 2, or do you do something else?
It depends on the day. The C2 bike is the easiest to pull outside. So if it's sunny, that's my go-to. I'll take the bike outside and just soak up some vitamin D. But if it's cold, I like pulling the air runner in front of the TV and watching a podcast, or YouTube has free movies, so I watch a movie.
Okay. All right. I like that. Where are you in the country, Molly?
I'm in Saginaw, Michigan.
Okay. So you've got some brutal winters then.
Yeah, oh yes. This winter, it wasn't too bad this winter. It was kind of mild, but winter is still holding on. We had 1 week of like 70, 80 degree weather, and now it's back in the 30s and 40s. So
make up your mind, Mother.
Yeah.
Right? So are you born and raised there?
Yeah. Yep. I grew up here. I went to high school here. I ended up going to college here. I graduated from Saginaw Valley State University, which is like less than 20 minutes from home. So I've never left.
Yeah, you're like me. I've stayed in the same place my whole life.
Yep.
You were a gymnast as a child, or?
Yes, I was a competitive gymnast for 13 years. I think I started when I was around 3, and then lasted till almost my 16th birthday. But I kept getting injured, and coaches and parents and doctors were like, "Let's see what else we can do. Let's find something else for you to do." So I ended up running just track and cross country in high school. Wasn't really into it. It wasn't until college that I got into like weightlifting and bodybuilding, which I really felt like I was like kind of finding where I fit in. And it wasn't until after college that I found CrossFit. So
interesting. Okay. So in college, did you find it difficult, the transition from, being a super, super active gymnast to being a college student gym rat?
Oh, yes. Well, I had like a year, almost 2 years of doing nothing. And, you gain weight, and I just needed that kind of that competitive like outlet or push. 'Cause that's not me. Being, sitting still and not being active is definitely not me. So that lasted, like I said, year and a half. And then it was, in the weight room every single day. And sometimes lifting took precedence over homework. And I was kind of finding my way. And I knew that's kind of where I belonged, was just in the fitness space.
Okay. So what year was it that you found CrossFit then?
I started CrossFit the end of August of 2018.
Okay. Yeah, you're not strong at all.
Yeah.
I love it. Little
Yeah.
muscle.
That was my first snatch at 180. I was excited.
So where did you start your CrossFit journey? What box?
So at the time it wasn't affiliated.
Okay.
It is now, I guess, I think they affiliated like not too long after I had started. It's called CrossFit Whip
Okay.
in Saginaw.
And do you own that gym?
Yes.
So how do you what a journey that. So you start CrossFit at CrossFit Whip, or a place that's called, whatever, CrossFit Whip Athletics.
Yeah.
And then here we are 4 years later and you own it?
Yes. So this was not the plan whatsoever. I mean, I think I was 9 years old when I decided I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
So everything through college was me prepping for medical school. It was, taking all the AP classes. It was working on the fire department as a first responder. It was working in the ER, the local hospital, as a scribe. Um, and it was just like pumping my resume. Yeah. It was pumping my resume to get ready for medical school. And I had graduated from SVSU with my bachelor's in biology.
Okay.
And so I had graduated, I think that like December, and then I had taken my MCAT the year before. So I took the 7-hour test and honestly was just waiting from December to June until medical school applications would open up. And in that time frame, I, was really starting to enjoy CrossFit and started coaching just a couple of the boot camp classes for the previous owners, and like really enjoyed competing again, because it hadn't been since, gymnastics when I was 14, 15 that I had that competitive outlet. And so in that time frame of graduating college and waiting for applications to open up, I decided that I didn't want that anymore, that I wanted to just try my hand at competing in CrossFit. And I had ended up quitting my job at the hospital to coach full time. And um,
So was
yeah,
that no, I don't mean to interrupt, but when you said you didn't want to do it anymore, was it you want to put it on hold because you thought this was something else, or you've completely kind of abandoned it and said like this is all roads ahead?
yeah. So I think at the time I called it putting it on hold. I think um, because my parents were like, "What are you doing?"
They'd kill you if you said otherwise. So.
But very supportive, of
Sure,
course.
sure. Yeah.
My mom's my biggest fan and my biggest supporter, and so is my dad. But it makes a little bit more sense now that we own the gyms. But um, yeah, I had put that on hold. I think knowing in my heart that just wasn't what I wanted anymore,
Mhm.
and started coaching full time, which allowed me that flexible training schedule. And I had hired a coach kind of through the previous gym owners. They knew of him, um, and just started training. And it's kind of funny. I look back now, and it's I was started 2-a-days and like would have to take a nap in between my sessions, and just like where I'm at now compared to when I started,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like half a session now. Like I thought I was really doing something, and it's nowhere close to where I am now. But yeah, I had coached for the previous owners for, I guess it would have been 3 years. And then my boyfriend and he also competes. We had gotten back from a competition in Louisiana called Wad Gods. I think that was like the end of April of 2021. And the previous owners came to me and said, hey, we're looking to move on. We want to move our family to Texas. And you are kind of the only one that we could see really taking this place over and doing something with it. And I was like, what? It was like kind of out of the blue. I had, they became such good friends and kind of like family that they had talked about maybe like our 5-year plan is moving to Texas. And, but it was like, they wanted to go now. And so I knew just from working there and running boot camps and kind of becoming like stepping into that role of gym manager, I knew the CrossFit kind of business and the do's and don'ts of owning it and running it. And my boyfriend graduated actually from the same college with his MBA, so he knew business. So we looked at each other and we're like, are we doing this together or what? And so we took over CrossFit Whip July 1st of 2021. And we had the intentions of moving the gym, and we're promised a move-in date of October 21. And it ended up being a whole year and a half of dealing with just construction and just a nightmare. Everything that could go wrong went wrong trying to move our affiliate. In the meantime, in that year and a half time frame, we actually bought a second gym. So we own two gyms. We have CrossFit Whip, and then we have a second location kind of across town that's called Whip Fitness, and it acts as an extension of us. Same programming, same all that. So we not only moved our affiliate, but bought a second gym in the process. And it's one membership, 2 locations, but it's just a lot. It's a lot, but it was a no-brainer to buy that second gym, and it has just allowed us to expand our community that much more. So
very fun. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your competitive career. So you qualified for Atlas Games last year, right? And haven't been in this sport very, very long. I mean, you jumped from top 500 even last year, top 500 to like top 150 basically in a year. Were you a backfill in 2022 for Atlas Games, or did you qualify?
No, I ended up 65th in North America, and they took top 120 last year. So which was a huge surprise to me, because I mean, with all that going on, we were trying to move the affiliate and just the stress, and we had actually been asked to move from our upstairs gym into the basement of that building. So we didn't have a rig. We weren't allowed to drop weights. Because we were at that time past our lease. So no complaints from us, because that landlord let us stay a whole year and a half after we were supposed to. But but kind of training for semifinals last year was, it was tricky, and it was a lot of scaling movements, and it was having to travel to neighboring gyms to just get my hands on rings and a rig and be able to put some heavy weights overhead and drop them. So last year was a big, it was a big surprise to make it that far.
And you didn't do too shabby at the Atlas Games either. You were just outside of the top 10.
Yeah. I placed 11th, which was awesome. I was very happy.
Yeah. So, who's your coach?
So now I follow Mayhem Compete. When we took over the gym, we changed the affiliate programming to Mayhem Affiliate, and just being a new gym owner trying to save some money, I ended up switching to Mayhem Compete as well.
Okay. And so you're not getting like one-on-one necessarily.
No.
Okay. Wow. And you're still doing that well. That's great. Does Jeremy give you any pointers?
Oh, he does. It's kind of funny. We were training partners before we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and I seem to listen to him more when we were just training partners. But no, he's very helpful, and He has been doing CrossFit, I think just a few months longer than I have. And he was a college football player. So I trust his opinion, and he knows fitness, and he lives and breathes it. That's for sure. So I try to take his advice.
Got it. So going into this season, you mentioned sort of all the trials and tribulations from last year, having to cobble together equipment and go to other places. And you made an Instagram post about this, that, you had such a great experience doing quarters this year in your own gym, right? You
Yes.
didn't have to borrow someone else's rope. You could drop weights, because you were on like a second floor at one point in time, or
Yeah, we were, and then, yeah, about 6 months into owning the gym, we had to move into the basement, and the building that the gym was in at the time was just not meant for a CrossFit gym. It was not meant for dropping weights, or because the whole thing shook all the way up the 3 floors. So
gosh. So how much of a great experience was that then, to just be able to do it in your own place and not have to worry about all that stuff?
oh my gosh, it was incredible. It was kind of an emotional weekend, because that whole year and a half was just having, like, it just felt like the weight of the world on my shoulders, trying to move this gym and this community into the gym that they deserved. And you know, I had like kind of like a light bulb switch last year during training, where, I was feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, I have this, we have this 10 legless rope climb event, and I have like a 4-foot rope that I've been practicing on. Um, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? No one cares. Like, let's do something about it. We have to get to other gyms. We have to just work with what we have, and to be able to do all of the work, excuse me, do all of the workouts in my own gym, and not have to worry about, um, ceiling height, or the dropping of the weights. It was just everything that we had worked so hard for the past year and a half kind of came to fruition. It was honestly, I think we moved in that gym like 3 weeks before quarterfinals. So it was just a very sweet moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was looking at your Instagram, because that's how I do most of my research.
Sure.
If you're not, if you're not Googleable, what is a puppy brother?
Oh my gosh, you went way back.
I did. Who is your puppy brother, and what does that mean exactly? You're an only child, right?
No, no, no,
Oh, you're
no.
not.
That's my brother. I
It is
have
your
a
brother.
I have
Okay.
yeah, I have an older brother who's 5 years older than me, and like, just growing up, he was so good at being an older brother, meaning like just picked on me constantly. So I don't know where the term puppy brother came up, but I just give him terrible nicknames because now I'm old enough that I can dish it back to him.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. Okay.
Yep.
Um, Christianity. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You're a Christian,
Yes.
and you talk about it a little bit on social media. How does that come into play with your training or with your philosophy? And obviously Mayhem has, there's a connection there
Yeah.
with Christianity as well. What kind of role does that play in your training and in your
Oh,
life in general?
just a huge part. You can always find me kind of off in the corner before an event like quarterfinals, or even an open workout, especially at semifinals, just um, praying to God and thanking Him for the opportunity to even be doing what I love every day. That's my biggest prayer, is just being so grateful that I get to live a life that I love and I look forward to every day. And it may be tough, and dealing with 2 gyms, and it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of like overhead, but my gosh, I don't think I would be as happy doing anything else. So it's always, giving thanks to God. And the kind of the phrase that I say before I step onto the floor, even if I'm training, and I know this workout's going to be tough, it's um keep me strong, keep me smart, keep me safe. And that's kind of what's going in my head the whole time. So
I like that a lot. Have you been to Cookeville? Have you ever been to Mayhem?
I have not. No. I would love to. I'd love the chance.
Yeah, you've got to go. I've been once, and you just kind of want to move in.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be the hard part.
It's quite nice for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so what? Obviously, the goal is to get to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself there?
Oh, I mean, I have to say yes. That I don't train 3, 4, 5 hours a day and do everything that I do if the answer were no. That is obviously the main goal. And it's kind of funny. I had a conversation with one of my friends the other day during training, and it was, and I don't know if she had asked that same question or how it got brought up, but it's just like, do do I want to go? Absolutely. But um, you know, do I want to give up being as involved with my gyms? Absolutely not. So
Mhm.
it's kind of just a balancing act of, how can we push ourselves during training? How can I recover, but how can I still be such a big part of the gym? And I'm learning that. And this feels like the first year that I've had the opportunity to, I mean, be an actual gym owner. We're not in the basement anymore. I'm
Yeah.
marketing, I'm advertising, I'm onboarding new people. I have personal training clients, but um, I also am 27, and you see older athletes in the space, and um, I don't think it's out of reach for me as long as I can stay healthy and, stay on top of recovery, which that seems to be my biggest struggle right now, is getting enough sleep. And um but yeah, the goal is the games, and I think if I can stay healthy, it's going to happen. If it's not this year, it could be next year.
Yeah, and it sounds like too you've got other things to fulfill you that if you don't get to the games, you win anyway, right?
Yeah,
Because now you've
absolutely.
got a little bit of an off season, and you can, sort of tend to the folks at your affiliate and all of that, which is
Absolutely.
awesome. I know when I opened up my affiliate, I became very unfit the first year because, you have so many other things to focus on, and you kind of put that in on the back burner. And I certainly wasn't trying to qualify for the CrossFit Games either. So I can't imagine, sort of the pressure, and no wonder you're not getting a lot of sleep because, there's a lot to do. You need the
Yeah.
earth to spin on its axis a little more slowly.
Yeah,
Time
see.
to sort of stand still, and that's the only way you can do that. And
Uh-huh.
I've tried it; it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell people, if I could clone myself, if there were just one more of me,
Or even
oh,
half,
I
even half,
could rule the world.
that would be good. Scott has a good question here. Do you have affiliates at your gym that qualified for quarterfinals? And if so, what difficulties does that bring for you if you're having to sort of take care of them as an affiliate owner and still, do your thing? Or maybe do you have age group people that are doing semis even?
Yeah, so it was only Jeremy and myself that qualified for quarterfinals,
Okay.
which made things a little bit easier because it's just he and I. Um, but we still, I am kind of the head coach. I'm the only coach that doesn't have another full-time gig. The gym is my full-time gig.
Mhm.
So I still cover most of the classes. But our coaches were incredible, and I think I only ended up having to coach one class kind of during the weekend of quarterfinals, and it was a little tricky, kind of having to schedule around class times because we're not going to stop classes just for us.
Right.
I wish, but the gym has to keep on moving.
Right.
Um, but in the future, I can see, um, I have a couple teenagers that are really looking to compete. And I have no doubt that next year we'll see a couple of them in quarterfinals. So that's something to look forward to. And kind of the more the merrier. If people want to hop in even on my training, I always love other people around me, even if we're not doing the same thing or we're not quite at the same level. It's just having people around. So if we can get more athletes into quarterfinals, I think the more the merrier.
Yeah. I like that. Is your is sort of the training age of your gym somewhat young? Would you say not young in like chronological age, but training age?
Yeah, yeah. I would say yes. Um,
Like, what's the average chronological age of your members?
um, I, that's a tough question. There's only a few. Honestly, there's only a few people who have been doing CrossFit longer than I have.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So you've got, and how about like the age range of the people? You have a lot of soccer
my
moms?
my
Older?
youngest member is 11,
Okay.
and our oldest are well into their 70s. I would say our average is 30s and 40s.
Okay.
I think since Jeremy and I took over the gym, just because the previous owners were a family, they had three little kids, and so it was very family oriented. Kind of when they took over, and now, or when they had the gym. When
Mhm.
Jared and I took over, I mean, we're both in our 20s, and um, are very vocal about competing and wanting people to compete if that's what they want, kind of just tailoring to what each member wants out of the gym. We've started to see some younger people come in their teens and early 20s, like ready and rearing to kind of get into that competitive space. So
And those non-competitive members are okay with that?
1,000%.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, we've got such a great community, and um we're very and Mayhem does a great job at like sending the coaches notes on, how we should be scaling. So um if people are just there to move and sweat,
Mhm.
we make sure that they know that that's okay, and give those people that option. And we've got people who are looking to compete, and I'll say, hey, if you're looking to do X, Y, and Z in the open this year, this is how we should be approaching the workout.
Yeah. That's important. I know my gym, we don't have many competitors, so that's pretty easy to do, but,
Sure.
it takes a good coach to be able to balance the 2 and make it work, so kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
So back to semis, you're going to the West or East?
East. Yep.
Okay, so you'll be in Orlando.
Yes.
Couple weeks heading here. What's some of your focus leading into that in terms of movement, nutrition, sleep, recovery?
So this week is all about sleep.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of funny. I went to a baby shower for a friend last weekend. Someone I met in college, and she actually introduced me to Christ, and I was in her wedding, and um, I was taken out of my bubble, like my little training bubble, my gym bubble, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm weird. I don't know how to interact with normal people anymore." I'm like I'm like, I didn't know how to make small talk. I'm like, "Okay." Like,
You're asking
we
everybody what their Fran time was. You weren't understanding what you were saying?
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm the weird kid in class now." No, it's that's totally fine. There is a time in the season to be social and have the small talk, but we are in the bubble now.
Mhm.
My focus is definitely sleep. And I've got awesome coaches that help me out with the 5:30 a.m. class, so I'm not having to get up that early often. But just kind of getting back into my weekend routine of all the sleep, all the food. After fittest experience, end of January this year, I hired Kelly Baker with Black Nutrition or Black Iron Nutrition. Um,
She's a friend of the show. We love
yeah,
Kelly. We
she's
love
amazing. She's amazing, and that was I think a huge um, like turning point in the season for me. I know enough about nutrition for the average Joe, but to fuel a competitive athlete who's training for hours and hours, and I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. And working with her and realizing how underfed I was, even all last year and like at fittest experience. That's been a huge game changer. So we've been staying on top of nutrition, which I think was, other than having all of the equipment I need in one place now, nutrition has been the biggest game changer this season. So just
Good.
staying on
So
top of that. Yeah.
you getting 11th place at Atlas Games with shitty nutrition, you've got some runway then.
Yeah.
For
Well,
semifinal.
fingers crossed. Yeah. We hope. We hope.
Awesome. Anything particular you're looking forward to with the experience? Who's going with you? Who's getting your coach's pass?
Oh my gosh, we have a crew going this year. Jeremy will get my coach's pass. My mom actually can't make it this year. She is devastated, and I'm devastated because she's been to every gymnastics meet, track meet, growing up, and just work conflict, and so Jeremy's taken the role of boyfriend, coach, and mom this go around, and I think we have like a group of 15 to 20 people going.
Awesome.
And I don't know if you watched any of the live feed of Atlas Games, but the two women that were screaming the entire time, those were my friends, and they're going again. So we have a whole just a big group of people, which I'm excited about. I'm just excited to have gotten, I think, kind of the jitters out my first go around at semifinals last year. And I'm coming into it just like, I think, more confident. I almost thought like, well, last year was a fluke. I don't know how I got here with everything going on, and
right, with what little resources you had.
Yeah. So this year I felt a little bit more pressure, of course, put on by myself to perform during quarterfinals, and ended up 29th in the region. And so, like, knowing that in the back of my head, I have more confidence going into this year, and just knowing that I have like Kelly making sure that I am fueled well, and just like I've been able to touch all the things, pegboards, all the legless rope climbs that my little elbows can handle. Like I'm just excited to see like what I can do this year compared to last year, and just kind of soak in the experience a little bit more instead of being so nervous, and hopefully making a splash.
Are you going to be competing against Kelly? Is she going?
No. She's in the West region.
That would be super awkward,
Yeah.
but cool too.
But cool, yeah. It would have been great to see her, but we had met in Texas. That's kind of how that got started. Was yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we are wishing you the best of luck, and it was so great to get to know you a little bit. And as an affiliate owner, I'd love to keep in touch, right?
Yes.
I think there's some things that we can learn from each other, and I think women-owned affiliates are super cool. And you don't see them necessarily all the time, and we chicks have to stick together. So
Yes, absolutely.
Scott will be in Orlando, so look out for him, and hopefully we can get some, sideline interviews and check in with you throughout the weekend.
Perfect. That would be awesome.
Okay. Well, appreciate everybody in the chat for chiming in, and we'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Media Podcast.